Hey everyone, welcome to the next video of our Python tutorial series for beginners. And in this video, we're going to be going over lists. So, what are lists? So, lists are basically ordered sequences that can hold various object types. They use brackets and they use commas to separate the objects inside of the list. They can be indexed and sliced like strings, just like how we saw in our previous video. And they also have various useful methods that can be called. And now let's jump into the idle and see some examples of these. Basically, how to define a list is we'll have a variable and then we set it equal to the list. So let's say our first, let's say our variable is going to be um, okay, let's just say our list's name is going to be numbers because we're going to have some numbers inside of it. So to make a list, we have to use these brackets. So as you can see, it kind of like got highlighted. That means it made a list. But right now there's nothing in our list. So let's put some things in it. So since it's numbers, let's add 1, comma 2, comma 3. So now these are three different objects in the list. 1, comma 2, comma 3, as they're separated by a comma. And since it can hold different data types, we can also add strings. Like for example, let's have 4 be a string, 5 be a string, and 6 be a string. So there we go. And now we can first print our list. Let's see what that gives us. And it gives us our list. And we can also clearly see which one's an integer and which one's a string. So now what are some like cooler things we can do with lists? So let's talk about how we can index and slice it, like how we were saying earlier. So let's say we want to get only some of these objects. Let's try. So this will mean we're going to print it from the first index to the end. And our first index is going to be 2 because remember, indexes always start with 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So 2 will actually be your first index. So if I print this, we should be getting 2, then 3, then 4, and then these 3 strings right here. And there we go. Now let's try something else. So let's say numbers of -1. So what this is going to give us is the last digit in this list. So we should get this string of 6. There we go. So those are pretty simple indexing and slicing of lists. Now let's see a bit more useful methods that you can call on lists. For example, appending and popping. So let's say we created a super huge list. Let's try a different list this time. Okay, so let's say fruits equals apple, orange, banana, watermelon. There we go. Wait. Oops. Yeah. And watermelon. There we go. So here is our fruits list. Now let's say we want to add something to this. We can use the append function. So let's say fruits dot append. So we do fruits dot append. So when we do this dot append, it kind of tells the idle that we're actually using a method on this list, like this dot. So our method name is going to be append. And now what we can do is we can add anything to our list at the end of the list. So let's say we want to add another fruit. Let's say lettuce. And I know lettuce isn't a fruit, but I need this for the next example, so you'll see what I mean. But anyway, so fruits dot append lettuce. So what this is going to do is it's going to add this object, the string of lettuce, to this list. Boom. I mean, it doesn't print anything since we didn't ask it to print something, but now if we check print fruits, boom, it got added. But now, so let's say we realized, oh wait, lettuce isn't a fruit, it's a vegetable. So what are we going to do now? We can actually pop it from the list. And by pop, it means we can take away an object, the last object from the list. So, like this. Fruits, again, we have to use our dot so we can actually call the method. Dot pop. Oh, and this pop-up right here, it kind of shows you a lot of the methods that can be called. So as you can see, we did append and here's pop. There's a lot of other ones, but we're not going to be looking at them right now. So fruits dot pop. Oops. So this is what happens when we don't have our parentheses. We always need our parentheses at the end. So fruits dot pop, like that. So now it prints out lettuce because this is what we popped. And now when we check out fruits, it's not there anymore. We took it out. So this pop function right here, it took out the last object from the list, and the append function added an object to the list. Okay, so now let's look at some other cooler things we can do with the lists. So let's check another method, which is called the sort method. So first, let's have let's create a list called letters, and we can add some letters in here. So let's say B, then C, or let's actually B, then X, A, L, and P. So I did this in an I did this in a random order for a reason, because now when we do letters dot sort, so what this sort method does, it'll actually sort the list into alphabetical order because there's letters in here. So we sort the letters, and now when we print our letters list, it's all in alphabetical order. And this also works with other types of data objects such as numbers. So let's try that. So numbers. And since you might be wondering, we already did numbers up here, but it doesn't really matter because if I define a new list with the variable numbers, it'll actually override the old one. So we don't need to worry about that. Do 2, 9, 1, 4, and 7. There we go. All right. So now numbers dot sort. Oops, I did that wrong. No, like this, and print numbers. And there you go. Now it's all in order from 1 to and increasing. So 1, 2, 4, 7, 9. There we go. And something else we can do with the lists is actually called we can actually add lists together. So let's have this one list. So let's say list underscore 1 equals A, B, and C, right? And then we can create a second list called list 2 that can be D, E, and F. And now what we can do, let's say both lists, create this variable, we can actually add these lists. So list 1 plus list 2. We're adding these variables together. And what that's going to do is when we print out both lists, we get the whole thing together. So this list got added to this list, and now we have everything together. So yeah, those are lists. So in this video, we went over what lists are, which are ordered sequences that can hold various data types. They use brackets and commas to separate the objects. They can be indexed and sliced, and they also have a lot of different methods that can be called to them. In the next video, we're going to be looking at dictionaries, which is a different type of data structure, and we're going to be looking at how to use them, what they are, and some examples of them. So make sure to look out for that, and I hope you really learned something from this video. If you didn't, you might learn something from any of our other videos, so make sure to subscribe and check out for those. Yeah, and thanks for watching.